So I wanted to do a video on concealed carry versus open carry slash chambered versus unchambered. So let's start with the first. Concealed carry versus open carry. My humble opinion, if you open carry or you carry on your hip, you're making yourself a target. And I don't want to be that personally. So, I am concealed carry all the time. I very rarely open carry. I have a number of different holsters I use, but one of the lessons that I learned from deployments and other things was consistency in my gear. And so now when I wear my plate carrier, my pistol's still on my hip, or hip-ish, because I don't want to move it to my plate carrier and then, there's half a second or a second that you have a decision to make that you have to pull your sidearm and you forget it's not on your hip, and you go to, you go to your hip, it's not there, and it costs you your life. So I think that's a good lesson, consistency in your gear. I have multiple levels of gear, so I have plated stuff, I have harnesses, but the consistency between them, the standardization between them is that, where my pistol is at is in the same place on every set. Where my pistol mags are at are in the same place on every set. Because you want it to be muscle memory. You've got to memorize this, and you've got to let your body take over. And great lesson. I mean, early 90s, I got my first rescue off the coast of Monterey, and nighttime, 50-degree water. We had 10-foot swells, and no moon, like it was dark. And nighttime in the helos, you don't jump, you get lowered in. And so I got lowered in the water, and I remember like a tenth of what happened, bringing these two guys back into the helo. But that's the message, to go back to muscle memory, right? Like, I didn't have to think. I had practiced and trained so many times that there was no thinking involved. Like, you don't want thinking involved. Once you get thinking involved, like, you're in trouble. That's that quarter second, that half second, which you don't think a quarter second or half second's long. It's a long time. So relook at your stuff, standardize. If you're carrying concealed and you carry on, your right hip, your left hip, wherever it is, try to standardize that to your gear, so when you're loaded out, it's the same thing as you've been doing your entire life. So next kind of sub thing is castle law. A lot of states have castle law where you don't need a concealed carry permit. I don't think you need a permit anyway, but you do. So castle law, keeping, firearm in your vehicle. If you have your permit to carry and you're leaving your firearm when you go in someplace, I don't know. I think that's a mistake. Like, if you legally can carry and they're not posted, and why not? Why not bring it in there? So, the other thing too is that make sure, if you are leaving your firearm in your vehicle, that you don't look like a gun-toting firearm type person, because that's an easy target for somebody to break into your vehicle and steal whatever you have. So, that's another part of it as well. All right. Chambered versus unchambered. Personally, I always carry chambered. Again, it goes down to the thought part of it. I don't want to have to think about, I have to rack the slide before I drop X. I want to bring up in one motion and engage. And so it's scary to some people, and I get that. Like, you need to go to your comfortability. If your comfortability says that you're going to leave a mag in with no round, like, don't force yourself to get uncomfortable. I think that's the big lesson too. You should try to work up to it, get proficient to where you feel comfortable with whatever it is that you're carrying, so that you can progress to that level. And again, same thing. Don't progress too fast if you're not comfortable, because accidents happen. But you're not going to, having a rounded, you're not going to cook a round off. It's going to take a finger to pull that trigger. It's not just going to go off. So, but practice, get comfortable, be comfortable, and, help elevate yourself. Dry fire training is hugely successful. There's a lot of major military organizations who do a lot of I do a lot of dry fire. It helps alleviate $100, $200 bills. But dry fire is good. Learn to anticipate and be able to know what your trigger is. Good example, I shot my buddy's 6.5 Creedmoor, and he didn't tell me that he got the trigger adjusted to about 1.5 pounds. And I literally barely laid my finger on it, and bam, it went off, right? Because I didn't know. And so you need to be intimately familiar with your firearms, with the trigger pull, and when to anticipate and expect a round to go down the chamber, or down the barrel, sorry. And all these things need to be, natural, standardized, not thought about. So, I don't know, a couple things to think about. One of the things I'm trying to do is keep videos under 10. So, quick, hit it and send it. So, have a good day, guys.